The Blender 5.2 update introduces powerful new features. They finally solve some of the biggest problems Blender artists have struggled with for years. Cloth simulations that finally work. Massive scenes without those annoying crashes. A built-in video editor that just got a massive upgrade. And that's only the beginning. I spent hours testing every major feature in Blender 5.2. And in this video, I will show you the new features that are actually worth using.
Real-time cloth simulation.
Up until now, Blender's cloth simulations have been an absolute nightmare. One wrong setting and suddenly the whole thing. That's why a lot of creators prefer using Marvelous Designer to create animations like this. But you won't need that anymore, because Blender's new cloth system is way more stable, much faster, and finally a lot of fun to use. Let me quickly show you how it works. We will start with a simple plane and give it a plenty of subdivisions. Next, switch to the weight paint mode and use the gradient tool to create a weight map. Then add the new Cloth Dynamics experimental modifier. Right now it's still hidden under unsigned. Now just hit play. You can move the cloth around directly in the viewport without baking anything first. It gets even cooler with an actual piece of clothing. Just grab a shirt, add a turbulence force field, and you can create realistic wind animations in real time. And now for my favorite feature. Tearing cloth used to be either incredibly unstable or Blender would just crash. Now you simply enable tearing and the cloth rips apart cleanly. With an additional force field you can create some really awesome effects. Like a shirt slowly getting ripped apart. Blender absolutely nailed it with this update. You have to tweak way fewer settings and you can achieve convincing results much faster.
Cycles improvements.
We have all been there. You spent hours creating an epic artwork, hit render, and then you get the legendary error message. Out of RAM, CUDA error. Blender 5.2 now brings a feature from the multi-million-dollar renders used in Hollywood. It saves your GPU memory and makes the massive renders possible in the first place. Here's a quick explanation of how this genius system works. Imagine, all the textures and geometry in your scene are stored inside one big box. Cycles now renders the image piece by piece. For the pixels it's currently rendering. It only pulls out the exact data it needs at that very moment.
Previously.
Blender tried to squeeze the entire contents of that box into your graphic card all at once and caused the render to crash. With Blender 5.2, even a regular graphics card can suddenly handle much larger scenes because the system manages memory much more efficient. And the best part, you don't have to change a single setting. It all works automatically in the background. Want to learn Blender? Check out my free Blender tutorials on my YouTube channel.
Blender Video Editor.
Did you know that Blender actually have a video editor? No. No surprise! It used to be really unusable. Until now. With Blender 5.2, the full power of the compositor is finally available directly inside your video timeline. And thanks to GPU acceleration, it's so smooth that Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects should start getting worried. Switch to the video editing workspace at the top. Now create a new project and drag your video into the timeline. Next, open the new script modifier tab and start adding modifiers. You will find all the standard editing tools you expect from Premiere Pro and After Effects. For example, you can adjust brightness and contrast directly inside the timeline. But now let's look at the really exciting camera lens effects. You can add chromatic aberration to recreate that subtle lens distortion you get from real camera lenses. You will also find grain and noise effects for a retro film look. And of course, the all-time classic vignette. Under the creative category, there are even more highlights. With the depth atmosphere, you can add realistic fog and atmospheric depth in post. The dithering modifier lets you turn your footage into pixel art with just a few clicks. And there's the paint filter modifier. Just like the name suggests, it transforms your footage into an animated painting. It comes with several different artistic styles to choose from. And finally, my absolute favorite, something that usually only found in Photoshop, the Tune Image modifier. With sliders like contrast and color boost, you can fine-tune your colors to perfection. And with clarity, detail and sharpness, you can take the quality of your footage to the next level. So stop spending money on expensive editing softwares. Blender absolutely nailed it with this update. It includes the tools most people actually need, without overwhelming you with hundreds of unnecessary options.
Thin wall material.
If you wanted to render paper, glass or even leaves, you used to rely on complicated node setups just to get light passing through them correctly. But not anymore. Blender 5.2 adds a new thin wall option directly to the material settings. Just enable it, and ultra-thin materials instantly look much more photorealistic. There are just a few things to keep in mind. First, experiment with the transmission value until you get the look you want. Second, make sure there's light source behind the object. And finally, this feature only works in cycles, so don't forget to switch your render engine.
Asset library.
Blender 5.2 made finding assets much more easier. It now comes with a brand new asset library packed with free materials, models, HDRIs, and even ready-to-use hair systems. Just switch over to the asset browser and take a look around. Everything is right there, ready to use. But here's the feature I think is even better. If you're using BlenderKit, this update is a huge quality of life improvement. Imagine you have already collected all your favorite materials and models. From now on, Blender automatically stores them locally on your computer. That means no more relinking. No more downloading the same assets over and over again. Once you have used them, they simply stay there. If you want to enable this feature, here's how. Go to Edit, Preferences, install the BlenderKit add-on. Then open the Network tab. There you will find the Local Asset Data option. After that, you will find all your assets from BlenderKit in the library. Now a lot of YouTube videos are saying that you can also connect Sketchweb or Polyhaven to Blender's new online asset library, but here's what they don't tell you. To actually use Sketchweb or Polyhaven this way, you will need a paid add-on. Seriously, that's just not worth it. BlenderKit is, for example, completely for free. There you also find all assets that you need. And if you ever specifically search for an asset on Polyhaven, just download it from the website. It takes only 2 seconds. So rather save your money.